Hi kids, my name is Teacher Jane, and for today's session, I am going to tell you a story. So this story is about Apollo and Daphne, and they are part of Greek mythology. So let us first introduce the important characters of the story. So first is Apollo, the god of light. Second, Daphne, a naiad nymph. And Eros, or better known as Cupid. Have any of you heard of Cupid? So, February is coming, so are the Valentines. We can now see Cupid everywhere. Cupid's appearance was a baby angel holding an arrow. So, let me show you the photos of the characters on the screen. Now that you have an idea what they look like, let us begin the story and discover what role these characters play in this story. So, in the beginning, the story of Apollo and Daphne in Ovid's Metamorphoses took place right after Apollo killed the python, the great snake that terrorized mankind. So after his triumph over such a powerful enemy, Apollo was full of arrogance. Seeing the god of love, Cupid, who was also a famous bowman, Apollo started making fun of him. "Impudent boy, what are you doing with a man's weapons?" said by Apollo. Apollo felt that Cupid was stealing his glory by gaining fame as a famous archer. Having defeated the python, he believed that he and only he was worthy of holding a bow and a quiver. Cupid did not take the offense light-heartedly. "You may hit every other thing, Phoebus, but my bow will strike you. To the degree that all living creatures are less than gods, by that degree is your glory less than mine," said by Cupid. The next thing that Cupid did was something Apollo did not see coming. The god of love stroked his wings and flew right next to the god of music. He then shot him on the chest with a golden arrow with a sharp, glistening point. This arrow did not kill or hurt Apollo. The true injury was not corporeal. It was sentimental. But Apollo would learn that soon. So, before we continue the story, it mentioned that the arrow did not kill or hurt Apollo. Do any of you have an idea what the arrow did to Apollo? Okay, so going back, with the second arrow, a blunt one with lead beneath its shaft, Cupid shot Daphne, a nymph who also happened to be a virgin huntress of the goddess Artemis. Daphne was very beautiful and many men came to ask for her hand. However, she was devoted to hunting and following the laws of the goddess Artemis, who demanded chastity and virginity. So, coming back to Cupid's arrows, they both had special abilities. The one that hit Apollo was an arrow of love and intense passion. The moment he got hit by the arrow, Apollo spotted Daphne hunting in the wild and unable to contain his passion went after her. However, the arrow that hit Daphne was an arrow that filled the nymph's heart with disgust for the god who appeared in front of her. Cupid's revenge was cruel, isn't it? Apollo was madly in love with a woman who hated him with every ounce of her being. So, to check if everyone was able to follow the story, I would like to ask every one of you, what made the arrows that struck Daphne and Apollo different from one another? Okay, so let's go back to the story. "Wait, nymph, daughter of Peneus, I beg you," screamed Apollo. But Daphne did not even look back. The god kept begging Daphne to stop. He tried to explain that he posed no threat to her and that his intentions were good. I, who am chasing you, are not your enemy, nymph. Wait! This is the way of sheep runs from the wolf, a deer from the mountain lion, but it is love that is driving me to follow you. Fate me, screamed by Apollo. The chase went on as Apollo was becoming more and more paranoid. He was afraid that Daphne might fall and get hurt. In a hopeless attempt to make her stop, he started explaining to her who he was. Besides, he was the god of beauty, prophecy, medicine, and music. No woman should be able to resist him. Apollo focuses on catching Daphne. He was running and running while the nymph could see that she was getting closer and closer to getting caught. At times, Apollo could almost grab her. She escaped him at the last second. However, it was becoming clear that Daphne would be caught sooner or later. As moments passed, Daphne was becoming exhausted. And then finally, Apollo grabbed her. So pause. What do you think happened when Apollo was eventually successful in capturing Daphne? Any idea? Right at the moment, Daphne saw the waters of her father's river, Peneus, and screamed, "Help me, father! If your streams have divine powers, change me! Destroy this beauty that pleases too well," said by Daphne. Peneus helped his daughter, who was now firmly in the hands of Apollo. Daphne started transforming into a tree. Her hair became leaves, her arm became branches, and her legs roots. Before Apollo could have a look at her face, she was completely gone. The only thing standing where Daphne stood was a beautiful laurel tree. So even after Daphne's transformation, Apollo's love did not wither away. The god took the leaves of the tree in his hand and kissed the wood of the tree. He then whispered, "Since you cannot be my bride, you must be my tree. Laurel, with you my hair will be red. With you my lyre, with you my quiver." And truly since then, the laurel became the sacred tree of Apollo. In the Delphi, the oracle would chew a laurel leaves before receiving the divine of wisdom that she translated into a prophecy. So, that is the end of the story. So, before we end this session, I would like to ask each one of you a question. What lessons did the myth of Apollo and Daphne teach you?